What's up? What's up, YouTube? Right now, you're hanging with Mr. Jackson. Story time, y'all. And now we doing another reaction of Malcolm-Jamal about, celebrities that he can't see himself hanging around. People trying to take advantage of him. People trying to make him play this certain role that he didn't want to play. People that he was looking out for. We about to get into all that right now, y'all. But we about to do a reaction of this channel right here, y'all, called The Golden Age. This is the title right here. As you can see, the title is right there. Breaking Malcolm-Jamal wife named celebrity banned from attending his funeral, y'all. I don't know if it's an AI channel. It might be an AI channel, but enough of that, man. Let's go ahead and get into the reaction, y'all. We started a little ahead ago, and I'm watching it with y'all. It was the first time me watching it with y'all. I saw you see the beginning, that part right there. I saw that part, but I started after that part. Yo, we just gonna get right into it because I don't want the video to be too long. So let's get it.
If you don't fight for your values from the beginning, you'll spend your career compromising them away piece by piece. Malcolm's experience with Griffin taught him about choosing collaborators carefully, but his real education in making powerful enemies came much later. By 2024, he'd found his platform for uncomfortable truths through his...
Yeah, remember that. It came much later, y'all. It came, but a lot of people didn't like on that show with Malcolm and Eddie. A lot of people didn't like him because he was a type of person, just like I said, like play certain roles, and he didn't like for his piece to play certain roles and make the black community look bad. Cause you know how that's how they used to do us, y'all. Back in the day, give us roles that make us look bad.
Podcast, Not All Hood. What started as honest conversations about black identity became a declaration of war against hip-hop's biggest names. Malcolm wasn't content to just avoid problematic people anymore. He was ready to call them out publicly.
At this point, for me, in hip-hop, I think the word is, and should be this a moratorium on both of those words in hip-hop, because it's low-lying fruit, it's so easy, everybody does it, to the point that it's corny.
Malcolm wasn't making general complaints about music. He had specific targets in mind, and he was ready to name names.
Like there are MCs who I love, who I cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing and
J. Cole.
And I don't get people like that. Like people like that that's mixed and they raised up by their mother. Their mother's white, and the daddy wasn't in their life and stuff like that. But they still use the words, use the N-word and everything, man. And most of them was raised up in white neighborhoods, but they still use the N-word. Like you you surrounded around with nothing but white people, but you still using the N-word. So I want to know if they friends do they use like they friends use the N-word too, y'all? I want to know.
One of hip-hop's most critically acclaimed artists, Malcolm had just declared war on a rapper with millions of devoted fans and serious industry connections. This wasn't just music criticism. Malcolm was arguing that record labels had weaponized hip-hop to perpetuate negative stereotypes about black people. He claimed the industry had created content that promoted self-hatred while making white executives billions. The backlash was immediate and devastating. Hip-hop social media exploded with anger at Malcolm's position. Young artists and fans saw his criticism as outdated respectability politics, trying to control their creative freedom. J. Cole never responded publicly. In hip-hop culture, where beefs and responses are expected, that silence sent a clear message.
J. Cole never responded.
Wasn't worth engaging.
He's smart, yo. J. Cole's
entirely, but Malcolm had made his choice deliberately. Just like he'd fought Griffin's unprofessionalism and would later defend Bill Cosby despite the cost, he was willing to burn bridges for principles. He believed
I would do the same thing with Bill Cosby. Just like I said, Bill Cosby was a whole setup, y'all. This happened because he was trying to buy NBC, y'all. They don't want black people that have wealth. They don't care if you get rich, but they don't want you to have wealth. And that's how he ended up in jail. Because the same thing with Bill Cosby, two other white actors did the same thing. They said Bill Cosby did, but they still out. They never got arrested. They ain't do 3 years. And Bill Cosby, and they say Bill Cosby was supposed to go to jail. They ain't had enough proof for him to go to jail, but still he went to jail and did 3 years. Well, prison.
Talented artists had responsibilities to their communities, that certain language was beneath someone of Cole's abilities. The hip-hop criticism revealed Malcolm's evolution from the Eddie Griffin experience. Instead of just avoiding problematic colleagues, he was now actively challenging entire industries and calling out specific people. His willingness to make enemies had escalated dramatically. The controversy created a generational divide in Black entertainment. Malcolm represented older artists who believed in conscious messaging and community uplift. Younger artists saw this as limiting their authentic expression and creative freedom. When Malcolm died, the hip-hop community's response was notably quiet. Many artists he'd criticized stayed silent.
Yep.
J. Cole offered no tribute, no public statement, nothing. The bridges Malcolm had burned by speaking uncomfortable truths would remain burned, even in death. His funeral guest list would reflect these choices. The hip-hop legends he'd called out wouldn't be welcome. Malcolm had chosen integrity over industry relationships, and his family would honor those same values in his final goodbye.
Yeah.
Malcolm's podcast criticism had been more than just entertainment commentary. He was making a broader argument about how Black art gets commodified and exploited by white-owned corporations. He understood that hip-hop
Yep, they always take something that's not theirs and try to make it theirs. You gotta understand that.
had been turned into a profit center that made billions for record labels, while often damaging the communities it claimed to represent. His willingness to call out specific artists like J. Cole wasn't about personal animosity. It was about holding talented people accountable for their influence. Malcolm believed that artists with genuine skill and massive platforms had responsibilities beyond just making money. The backlash he received for these positions only confirmed his suspicions about how the industry operates when someone challenges their profitable formulas.
He saw too much.
Malcolm's willingness to make enemies was just getting.
But that's how some people is, yo. When you see too much, yo, some of that stuff you just can't hold on. Hold in. It just make you want to go crazy, yo. So he just had to get it out to the public, y'all. He just had to get it out, especially to his own people, y'all. He was trying his best to get it out to us, especially this young generation. They don't like to listen to nothing really, y'all. That's positive. It seems like everything now is about negative. It cannot be nothing positive, yo. Go on that right path. It's hard to find entertainment about something going the right path, y'all. There always gotta be something negative, y'all. And those be the channels and stuff like that get them get all the views and stuff. If it don't got nothing negative in it, your channel ain't going nowhere.
Getting started. His most costly loyalty was yet to come. Malcolm's hip-hop criticism had made him enemies in music, but his most devastating conflict was still ahead. When allegations mounted against Bill Cosby, Malcolm faced a choice that would define the rest of his career and ultimately determine who would mourn him publicly. Unlike his battles with Eddie Griffin's unprofessionalism or his criticism of J. Cole's artistry, the Cosby situation forced Malcolm to choose between financial survival and personal loyalty. He chose loyalty, and it destroyed his relationship with most of Hollywood.
And I am in no position to defend him because I can't. Right. But nor will I throw him under the bus.
Malcolm staked out the most dangerous position possible, refusing to completely condemn Cosby, while also refusing to defend his alleged actions. It was a nuanced stance that satisfied nobody and made enemies on all sides.
You just look at just how the media is playing this whole thing out, and I can't help but think about Woody Allen, Roman Polanski, Stephen Collins, but there's no one that has been calling for Woody's movies to be pulled off air.
Right.
Malcolm's strategy was pointing out double standards in how the entertainment industry handled scandal. Roman Polanski still got celebrated at film festivals despite fleeing charges. Woody Allen's movies still got distribution despite credible allegations. But making that argument put Malcolm squarely against the Me Too movement.
And Woody, I think he's the one that married the girl that he adopted and raised. He adopted a Chinese girl. I don't know if she was Chinese, whatever. He adopted her, raised her, and then married her. How? How you get away with something like that?
Movement and survivors advocates. Hollywood executives saw him as unreliable, someone who couldn't be trusted to take simple positions on complex issues. The financial cost was immediate and brutal. When Cosby Show reruns got pulled from syndication in 2014, Malcolm lost millions in residual payments he'd been counting on for retirement security. Malcolm was characteristically honest about the money. His decision to support Cosby was literally taking cash out of his pocket. That honesty made him seem callous to people who expected moral concerns to outweigh financial ones. In 2023, just 2 years before his death, Malcolm reflected on what they'd all lost from the Cosby scandal. A reboot could have made the cast wealthy for life, but Cosby's crimes made that impossible forever. Yet Malcolm never expressed regret about his loyalty. He understood that maintaining his position would cost him opportunities, relationships, and millions of dollars. He did it anyway, because it aligned with his values about personal relationships and due process. The Cosby loyalty connected directly to Malcolm's earlier conflicts. Just like he'd fought for his girlfriend when networks wanted to replace black actors, just like he'd called out hip-hop artists despite the backlash, Malcolm was willing to sacrifice his career for principles.
3 months ago, what we talked about was something he was very proud of. He had done a concert in Minnesota.
When Malcolm died, Cosby revealed they'd stayed in contact despite all the controversy. They'd spoken just 3 months before Malcolm's death about a concert Malcolm was proud of. That ongoing relationship proved Malcolm had never abandoned his mentor.
Oh, no, he
didn't.
didn't. Sounds like a second father to him.
Much safer. The Cosby situation escalated Malcolm's pattern of making enemies for principles. He'd gone from avoiding bad colleagues like Griffin to criticizing artists like Cole to defending controversial figures despite massive personal costs. Malcolm's defense of Cosby wasn't really about Bill Cosby at all. It was about his refusal to Cosby that loyalty to principles matters more than financial consequences. His podcast became a platform for dangerous honesty about systematic racism, industry exploitation, and celebrity cowardice. Malcolm talked about issues that made white executives uncomfortable and called out black celebrities who stayed silent to protect their careers. The cost was immediate and measurable. Fewer offers, exclusion from high-profile projects, watching less talented performers get opportunities because they were more politically palatable. But Malcolm had found something valuable through all his conflicts: genuine peace of mind. He'd built a life on his own terms, married someone who loved him for who he was, and moved to Atlanta to raise his daughter away from Hollywood's toxic atmosphere. Malcolm's political positions represented the final evolution of the pattern that started with Eddie Griffin.
I ain't knew he moved out of Hollywood. He moved out of Hollywood, y'all.
He'd gone from avoiding bad colleagues, to criticizing problematic artists, to defending controversial figures, to completely rejecting the system that had controlled his life since childhood. The boy who'd charmed America as Theo Huxtable had become a man Hollywood couldn't buy, couldn't silence, and couldn't control.
And that's why they had to take him out, because they couldn't control him, y'all. But we're going to end it right here. Y'all like it? Y'all show you? Smash that like button. Subscribe. If you got any comments down below, let me know, yo. And I see you. Peace. I'm out. Remember, you can check out the channel right here, man. The Golden Age. All right, y'all. I'm out, y'all.